I'll wait for everybody. I am so sorry. Alright, so let me know. Hi, Shannon. I know. We'll just put the kitchen on display. Isn't Minnie Mouse so cute? So my phone dies. We are trying to find you. Laugh out loud. You can't find me? Can you hear me? Okay. Megan, can you hear me? Oh, somewhere on the old one. Okay, gotcha now. So hopefully they move over to this one. My phone died, and so I guess it'll just keep going until it realizes that I'm not on there or something. Okay, Megan. Let me see. They will find this one soon. Yeah, I hope so. I hope Daniel comes back on. Did Daniel get off? Showing you live on the other. Yeah, tell him to come to this one. Because that one's probably like frozen or something. That's weird how it's still showing live on the other one. I wish Daniel would come back on. Poor Daniel. I feel so bad for him. Yeah, he said going to work. I told him it was froze, but not chat, and it's live now. Yeah, hopefully they come over here to the new one. And there's Louis panting again. It kicked us off the second one, put us back to the first one. Wow. So hopefully they come over to this one. I am so glad Aneem got to speak with her daughter. That's like amazing. See, that makes me feel so good, guys. You know, just a little bit of encouragement. Can you guys still, like, hear me and everything? Did you guys tell Chris and them to come over to this one? Hi, Barney. Hey, Tamara. You're new. Everybody say hi to Tamara. Guys, we get to see Minnie that talks by herself and interacts. I'm glad you're addressing this subject. I'm going through it now. It's tough. Yeah, Shannon, it is very. I get you, girl. But Aneem was on here and she's going through the same thing. And by listening to it earlier, it encouraged her to get in contact with her daughter, and they had a wonderful conversation. And I am so happy to hear that. Tamara, did y'all hear about Chris Watts? No, what? Alright, Ejack says he can see the chat, but the sound is off and the screen is black. Can everyone else hear me? Yeah, because it's also showing me like 0 people, but I can see live. No, Tamara, I haven't heard. What? I have been like so busy today, so I wasn't able to like hear anything, and I never watched the news. Oh no, Ejax, it's not working for you. All right, get Tamara off of here, guys. My like seriously, how disrespectful. Like, get a life, and that's terrible. That you have a heart like that. You're vile. Yeah, this one's still saying 0 people. Ajax, maybe if you got out and then went back in, it might show up. Because, yeah, on my end, I see all of your comments, but I'm not seeing the people that are on. So it's so weird. Jay for Justice is reporting that Chris Watts is on suicide watch. Apparently, he's being checked on every 15 minutes. Have you guys heard that? No. Wish he wasn't being watched. Sorry for that, Lord. Probably because he thought that he was going to be able to talk to his parents in May, because they were going to go see him in May. And he wanted to be the first to tell his parents. And he didn't get that opportunity. His parents got to hear it on national news. Yeah, Ajax, I think it's your ending, because everyone else can see the kitchen, right? Yeah, he knows he looks like a schmuck is right. Barney needs a drink, but it's a bit early. You know, you got to think about it. He was very close with his father. So, him wanting to tell his father, like, I keep going back to the interrogation where Ronnie got him, you know, to talk, basically. So, he wanted to tell his parents his side of the story, which would have been a lot different than what he told the FBI, because his butt got caught off guard. He wasn't prepared for the FBI to come there. Yeah, they have to face it. And think about it. His parents are probably really upset with him right now. And like I said, children want to please their parents. And Chris especially don't know how to handle any type of rejection that maybe his father and his mother are giving him right now. More so his father. I won't say his mother. And having to realize that your son did do this and you heard it out of his own mouth. So now it's not about what he did to his family. It's now pity for himself because now he feels like his parents are judging him and he's not the Chris that they thought he was. Someone's saying it's frozen. I only just subscribed today and already a live video. Cool. Oh, thanks, Ejax. I'm sure prisoners have gotten word of it all. Maybe have even seen something about Dr. Phil and they could be writing his... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because keep in mind, Chris is stupid, right? We all know that. So he honestly thought that they were just coming to, you know, better educate themselves on how to handle cases like this in the future, which is what they had manipulated him to believe, which they can do. And that, oh no, it's not going to go nowhere. We're not going to tell anyone. No one's going to know about this meeting. And guess what? They lied. And everyone got to know about it. Sorry, Chris, I'm sorry. Chris said he was in the other feed talking to himself. I don't mean to laugh, but Chris, you always crack me up. Oh my goodness. They probably put, Watts in, I don't know what they call it, solitary confinement or something, where you get to keep him away from the prisoners, because I already heard they were booing him at this new prison. Like, booing him and pissed. So now, these prisoners get to watch TV, guys, and they get to hear from the monster's mouth exactly what he did. And 30% are in there for life sentences, meaning that the other percentage of prisoners in there have something to look forward to. They get their freedom back. But the 30% of population that's in there for life sentences, they have nothing to lose, guys. So that means they will get you. They will find a way to get you. And guards can find a way to turn their heads. So to me, if he's talking about killing himself, that is only because he realized that he told on Kessinger, which he did, if you listen to the confession. He inadvertently told on her. And then also for the mere fact of what his father now knows that his son is. His son is a monster. An evil monster. I'm going back reading you guys' comments. Poor Chris in there talking to himself. Did you get an answer back, Chris? So did we lose Daniel Bishop, guys? Yeah, I don't like to wish violence on anyone, but I hope they beat and strangle him. So I assume Chris Watts is not in general population yet. The way he was talking in that confession was he was out and about with everybody. I wonder if he will ever be able to be out. Honestly, they should just let him out and turn their heads. Yep. I know, and guys, I'm totally against violence, but when it comes to this man and what he did, I would knock him over the head with something. Hi, Al. I was thinking all the other inmates make phone calls home, and I'm sure they have been told, oh, yeah, definitely, Jaden, definitely. All right, what is that, Chris? Oh, he's getting the witty bulgur treatment. Hi, Holly. Oh, yeah, guards do look away, guys. I had a comment on here one time that said that they work in a prison and that in cases like this, they do look away. And the way he laughed in that confession and talked about food and stuff, you should be mourning the loss of your family. That to me was creepy. That creeped me the hell out. And I'm going to be honest. Yeah, he's having a pity party feeling sorry for himself. He doesn't feel sorry for his family. No, he doesn't. He's feeling sorry for himself and for the disappointment he's caused his family. Because now, guess what? You just made your family the most hated family in the whole entire world, Chris. Because your family act just like you, narcissist. And Ronnie, on the other hand, is a denier, a submissive denier. Anam, I am so like happy for you tonight. I am so happy for you. Canada, Mary Jane's is from Canada. Holly from New York. Holla, Marcella. Threw this mother-in-law under the bus. Mm-hmm. Chris doesn't have any respect. And I keep going back and I keep saying this over and over again in my videos of Shanann's text to Chris that no one ever protected you from your mother. And I'm sorry, I felt you deserved better. That's very telling, guys. Oh, Woody Bulger was killed in prison. Now I know what you mean. Yeah, because that might affect me. You're right, Chris. Yeah, he seems really happy where he is. Like mourning and losing somebody is what you've seen on Dr. Phil with Shanann's family. That's a true, like, people that are in mourning, guys. He wasn't, okay? He didn't show that he, even the way he described what he did to his baby and her sweet little voice. And look how his whole demeanor was. This is definitely the most gruesome, creepiest murder I've ever heard of. I think because he had a clean record and seemed so normal on camera. And to his mommy, I guess. It's legit freaks me out. That's true because, it makes a lot of people like side eyed looking at their partners that are in good relationships go, could you do this to me? It does make you think that. Chris, let me know if I requested you because I'm following you. Shanann was a smart girl, Marcella. She was. And God, you're content. Yes, Lisa, it is so sad. Reading Shanann's text to her friends and Chris was so sad. She really loved him and was genuinely trying. Yeah, she really was. She loved her husband, guys. She said he was the best thing that ever happened to her. You know? It's just it's heartbreaking. He is happy as heck to be away from his family. Yeah. He'll get used to life in jail. He'll be a star talking about NASCAR football, the Steelers. Yeah. Metallica. Mm-hmm. Holly, definitely, you can definitely see what the Rusicks knew, what love was, and Chris Watts and his whole family do not know. Yeah, and when Sandy said, they're my grandkids, and the way she said it, that broke my heart, guys. God. They were my grandkids. And what really disturbs me is that the Watts went to that home and didn't ask for nothing of their grandchildren's. Nothing. Nothing. And it seems like the grandmother, Miss Monster in Law, would have at least wanted something as a reminder of those grandkids. Something. Marcella, Shanann was in denial. I think she was, because in those situations, you are in denial, guys. You are, because you don't want to think this about your husband. You honestly don't, because you love them. Yep, I even had those thoughts. Thankfully, my husband and I are super close and talk about everything, but still, you. No, you don't. He was jealous of her. You're right, Leave. He was. She was. And keep in mind, guys, when you're pregnant, your hormones are like, through the roof, and then you don't feel sexy anymore because you're pregnant. So you want your husband's attention. And he wasn't even giving her the attention that he was 6 weeks prior. They couldn't keep their hands off each other. And now she's pregnant and he's doing this torture to her mentally. Chris Watts doesn't need anyone now. No, he don't. Guys, you can, this is in Chris. This has always been Chris. There's two Chris's, you know? Yeah, he was jealous of her charisma and her personality. Holly, was so hard to hear that it seemed like they were all just buddy buddies and they wouldn't let him finish anything they were talking about. Holly, are you confession? You got to think about, from Shanann's text about her monster-in-law family, they tortured that poor girl. She tried so hard to fit in, because you could tell by Shanann's personality, she was a very likable person and was a determined person and really wanted people to like her. And you can tell by that. And you can also tell that she had her weaknesses too, you know? And it's just so sad all around. When Sandy asked, "Is she beautiful? Does she have black hair?" Oh my God, I cried so hard. I did too. I could not help. I think they were getting him to feel comfortable. That's what they do, guys. They laugh and stuff, actually, to see where your headspace is too. Like, can he laugh in this situation? Is he truly feeling remorse? So let's laugh about something and laugh about it. And so that's a psychological thing that they did to him. And he did do it. He did laugh. And he did talk about other things, which in itself is very telling and very eerie to the detectives that were actually there talking to them, because they even said it was a very eerie conversation with him, that he was actually laughing with them. That was a psychological test, guys. But I never doubted Shanann's innocence. Yeah, that's what got me, is, to think about what her had to go through. And everyone said these terrible things about their daughter, her reputation, all she, and they're doing this. That's full. And then they had one website that was up, I can't say the name, stating that her nausea medicine, which is Zofran, which is very safe to take, especially when you're pregnant, that she killed her baby with that. So her family had to take rights of the baby and prove that it was Chris's baby. And they also had to prove that the baby was alive. So imagine, they're not only mourning the loss but they're also having to fight for Shanann's reputation, which goes back to that doorbell footage that they never wanted to release it. That's the last time they ever see their daughter alive was on that doorbell footage, guys. And the only reason why Sandy released it was to prove that she wasn't intoxicated. And then now you have striking your channel. Like, really? As a journalist, I have a sixth sense, and I knew he was always lying. Oh, yeah. He even said he got that idea from Tammy. So just like in confession tapes, keep in mind, he's getting posted by Ronnie what's going on the internet and what people are saying. So, of course, he's already getting all this, and now the story changes. I think, and then, like, he described that dress that Cece was wearing, too, and the from the buttons on the back of it. And then now, all of a sudden, he doesn't remember it at all. He doesn't even know why the Vivint did a notification that the garage door and the basement door was left open at the same time. Like, come on. Like, it's lies that I've caught in this new confession. And I'm sorry, just like the DA stated, they didn't believe it either. That they can't believe a word he freaking says. There's something about the Rusiks. They just seem so genuine and real, and they just seem so hurt. It's heartbreaking. The look on their faces just broke my heart. Yeah, and then when Sandy said she didn't have any reason to live, and that's when Shanann and the girls came to her. That really killed me. Think about it. She lost her daughter and her two granddaughters, her unborn grandson, guys. That pain has to be so unimaginable. Like, I cannot even imagine that pain. She always questioned whether she was doing the right thing. When did the Watts family ever admit wrong? Well, they're narcissists, so they can't ever admit wrong. A narcissist will never, ever do that. Yes, Lisa, they are very good. I cried when I was 7 months pregnant because I offered to make my husband a cheeseburger, and he said no, thank you. I was totally devastated. So pregnancy hormones are awful. They are, and imagine that weekend before she was in such a bad place mentally. Imagine just, God, I can't even go there right now. I'll just start crying. I think he probably felt like he finally matched her as an equal after he lost the weight. Then he got cocky and arrogant. Yep, Shelly, yep. I think you're right. She even let his sister do the invitations to their wedding, knowing and feeling that they were after her. Exactly. And do you know that the spitefulness narcissist was? She didn't even send out the invitations to Shanann's friends. And Shanann knew that they ruined her wedding. Like, imagine this is supposed to be the most happiest time of your life, and they're ruining it. Keep in mind, like, Asian part, Cindy Watts, that's a narcissist. They are alienating Shanann because she can't accept her son being with anybody. Shanann's mother made me cry when she said, "Can I identify my daughter?" over the phone. And they said, yes. Her mom said, "Is she beautiful?" And they said, yes. Oh my God, I know. He didn't feel like he was enough for her. He was jealous, then found NK, who was chasing him all around or all over him, and that was easier for him. No excuse to kill your family because he had to try a little more. Yeah, guys, and also look at the cards he sent to Kessinger, guys. Look at the cards. That big things were going to happen, Nikki. All your firsts are going to happen. She wanted to have his first son, Nikki, wanted to have his first son. And here Shanann was having his first son. And he said in that card, almost like a decoded thing, I'm going to give you all your first. All your dreams are going to come true this year. So you have to take those things in consideration, guys. I was so sad about that trip away for 6 weeks, which Shanann probably thought would open his eyes for what he had and let him live a bachelor life for a month and get really serious with it. Okay, yeah. There's something more to the story, guys. I can't seem to stop reading about this case. It's so sad, and I feel so bad for her and her family. It's like it's not over. I know, Mary Janes, I know. He feels no remorse, pain, nothing. He said, have a safe flight to the detectives. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It just freaks me out. Oh no, Shelly, it's breaking up. Ajax, it also makes me mad that I've seen people say she didn't actually have lupus. I have lupus, and it's not always something you can physically see. Exactly. People have illnesses that on the outside others don't see, but on the inside, you really do, guys. You really do have an illness that other people will not understand because they're looking at the outside of you and not knowing that the illness is on the inside. Yeah, Zofran does nothing except helps you not to feel nausea. Yeah, and it's extremely safe nausea medication for pregnant women. She was a strong woman with confidence. What more could a guy want? Exactly, Shanann. Sorry for saying Shanann. Shannon. Of course it was his baby. Shanann's life was her kid's husband, housework. Exactly. And she was so desperate to save her marriage, those self-help books, and he puts it in the garbage. Chris, I'd give anything for a beautiful, loving family that he had. I know. Like, how could he sit there and say what he did to those babies with, like, nothing? Like, fake cries, like, no real genuine pain coming out of that, guys. Yes, I thought about that dress today. I had a photographic memory, but can't remember other details. Exactly. Because when you lie, you forget the lies. Yes, Anam, it's called selective memory. How convenient. He said, right now I could have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a month-old boy, and a beautiful wife, but now it's only me. Mm. And that's what he wanted. Mary Jane's, I also have a feeling NK is wearing a necklace from Chris Watson, her Denver Post pictures. I have those pictures of her. Abby says she believes Bella was alive when he shoved her in that tank. No, because the autopsy proves that she wasn't, because that would have went into her lungs, and nothing was in her lungs. They died by suffocation, and the crude oil was in her stomach because she was face down in it, and baby Cece was actually faced up. I came across the channel posting videos she didn't have lupus, was hateful to Chris, and that she was pregnant by another man coming. Yeah, like, Jesus. 50 times to shut it down. Did that work, Ejax? Soul for Music 79. If he is on suicide watch, I personally feel it's because he can't live with his lies. It's maybe, they say the lies you tell, the secrets you keep, you sick. They make you sicker. Because he can't live with his lies. It's maybe finally eating him up. Seems hard to believe that he feels that way, but maybe it has finally hit him. No, I think he's only feeling sorry for himself. That's what's hitting him, is that he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Just like during his sentencing, he wasn't that emotional about anything. But when the judge decided to do the sentencing with him, did you see where the cameras went to his leg and it was shaking so hard? That was for him. Chris was doing that for himself. Exactly, Shelley. They should admit they are wrong. Get down on their damn knees and beg them. Yeah, and say, I'm sorry to the Rzuceks. Yeah, I get migraines too. Imitrex, the doctors can give you. It's an injection for them. Marcella, he was always weird. Yes. Jax, they were in-laws from hell. You can tell by their whole demeanor. Look at Shanann putting packages together for her mother-in-law because her mother-in-law was coming to take care of the girls and she wanted her to feel better. I admire her strong faith. I'm not that lucky. I don't believe in God. Oh, Marcella. I think maybe Nicole Kessinger is pregnant. That's why Chris Watts is still protecting. I don't know. That would be speculating on my part. And I honestly don't know if she's pregnant or not. Connie, she didn't care about how it would emotionally hurt Shanann. Mm-mm. Yeah, him thrash really affected me. It just shows the two sides of the spectrum. Exactly. Just the book is about hold me tight. You know, protect me. Like she was begging him after what you said about the baby. You scared me, and it makes you wonder what did he say to her about the baby that scared her so much. And now we know like it was something serious because he murdered them. So that, and her just saying, just make me feel safe. Make me feel safe after what you just said. Her desperation of just like love me. Like every woman wants their husband and their significant other just to show them attention and love. Especially when you're pregnant. Like he had 5 weeks, guys. Seemed like you'd be all looking, kissing her and hugging her and missing her, and she didn't get that. So imagine all of the mental abuse he put her through those 6 weeks. Yeah, Marcella, he is with those creeps. Hey, Misty, glad you're back. Dana, who's the abort? So I keep going over the fact that there's more to the story on Nicole Kessinger's part. She says she didn't know Shanann was pregnant. Bullshit. But the next says she was told NIKO wasn't his. It makes no sense. Exactly. Exactly. Marcel, I think he deserves more than the electric chair. That's just an easy saying I didn't know what I was doing. Like something took over me. Yeah, bullshit. Because he stated that night, back of my mind, in the back of my head, that I was going to do it. And, but I knew that morning that's when I was going to do it. Shelly, I'm sorry. I mean, I struggle every day Shanann was truly amazing doing all she did, and Ronnie Watts had the nerve to spew crap and say all Shanann did was sit on her ass on Facebook. See how, like, they were. Hi, Paula. Yeah, the hardest part, Paula says, was, you know, when Bella asked, "Are you going to do that to me? What you did to Cece?" And he didn't say, he didn't remember what he said. That's why, guys, I keep saying something way more sinister happened. House. She was on the tapes from the book to fix her marriage. Yeah, he had a good wife. You're right, Marcella. What's has never said, "Forgive me, Cece, Nico, Bella. I'm so devastated." Yeah, he didn't know his marriage was bad until Nicole Kessinger told him it was bad. Exactly, guys. Just like that parental alienation. You know, when people put shit into your head. He wants to be a counselor in jail. What? He looks forward to being a mentor to new inmates. A mentor on how to kill your children and your wife. When he describes the halls of his new leather, etc. Ugh. Yeah, and the women that are sending him love letters and God, are you? It's gross. It just breaks my heart. He seduced Shanann, her after he had been with that sidewalk hostess. Exactly. I just me 11. Hi Rebecca, did you hear he was on Suicide Watch? I'm just now hearing it right now on the live. Yeah, she smacked Ronnie upside his head. Just like Shanann stated, your dad is just as guilty for not doing anything. Keeps saying I didn't know I was doing. Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm in the comments reading them because they go so fast. Thank you, Misty. I sure as hell would have held her and made her feel special. Pushes her away. Chris, I know you would have. Because you're such. And the kids were alive in the truck? Question mark. I don't believe so. Marcella, I honestly do not believe they were. Um, just based off of physical evidence and circumstantial evidence alone, and based off of Chris's first interrogation, what he said in his first interrogation is called a twisted truth. Where they tell the story of really how it happened, but they twist it around on someone else, which would be he seen Shanann doing that to Cece, which in return I think Shanann seen him finishing Cece. And so that's when he came behind Shanann, got her on her back, or like he stated in the second confession, she was face down. Well, no pregnant woman sleeps on her stomach, guys. If you've ever been pregnant, you know you don't sleep on your stomach. So that to me is bullshit. And then also me getting a letter that um, the girls were seen in black trash bags, and Shanann was wrapped in a sheet, and there was more to the letter. I still am with saying that the girls were already gone. I think Chris got the shadow and everything and the story from what he was being told. I honestly believe that, guys. And if the shadow thing is true, that would only have been Cece, because he stated walked downstairs as he was loading the bodies. And what gave him away in this last confession was the fact that he stated, when they asked him, what could we have done to got yes to this? He stated, if you would have told me you seen the girls' bodies in the truck. Okay, bodies again means bodies, right? Bodies means you're dead. If he should have said, if you would have seen the girls getting in the truck, that's a different story. But he didn't state that. He said bodies, the girls' bodies. And then he said that he had them buckled in their seats on each end of the extended cab, meaning one would be on each side, buckled in. Then he states, because remember, when you lie, you forget the lies you tell. Then he states again that they were back there in each other's laps holding each other. Well, which one is it? Like, which one is it? His girlfriend helped him. Guys, I honestly don't think she helped him do it. I think she played a big mental manipulation on him to kind of give him a boost to do it. You know, the mind is a very powerful thing. Manipulation is a very powerful thing. People can be easily manipulated, you know. There's a saying, to the extent of which one believes is real, it becomes real to them. So if I tell you, and I keep telling you that the tree outside isn't green, that it's purple, and I keep telling you this, you're going to start seeing that the tree is purple, if you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Because your body's harboring what your mind is doing. It's believing that. So I think, you know, that card, that birthday card to her, go back to it. I did a video about it. That was a very telling birthday card. Keep in mind, he stated he had to talk her off the ledge several times because she had bipolar. So do you think she wasn't going absolutely berserk and putting pressure on Chris too? You know, that you're going to go see your wife, you're going to go see your wife, then go figure it out. And then she had stated in her interrogation that he told her, well, I love you, Nikki. Oh, don't tell me that. Don't say that to me. Don't even tell me that. And then he deletes his Facebook as a confirmation. Then she slips and says he used to use all these cards from Anadarko, but then that night he used his credit card. So that told her, well then, oh, okay, I guess he really is serious about this. She knew all along he was married, just like Chris stated in confession. She knew he was married. She did not. Like, she's lying when she says she thought they were separated. That's bullshit. That's a lie. What's not making sense to me is the trauma dogs alerting in the basement in Bella's room. Did Bella see him kill Shanann in the basement? Did she say, are you going to do to me what you did to mommy? That's where I'm thinking that's what happened right there. Bella and heard this, because keep in mind, he said Bella had her blanket in her hand when she walked in, when Chris was wrapping her in a sheet. When all honesty, I think what happened was he's in the midst of strangling Shanann, and Bella walks in with her blankie and screaming and crying. And he has to immediately shut her up because Bella is no longer his daughter. She's a witness now that's going to tell. And so then he has to go and do Cece, which would explain him saying Bella was already sprawled out on the bed. Or I think what could have clearly happened was Shanann came home, went upstairs, changed her clothes, got into bed. The baby monitor's right there on the bed. She looks, Bella sprawled out. Chris is actively doing that to Cece, and this is all after an argument. And Shanann runs in there. So there's so many different scenarios that can happen, and nobody really knows the truth but Chris Watts. And I don't think anybody's ever going to get the truth from Chris Watts. I saw the video of the shadow of a little girl get in the truck. Okay, Mary, I seen that too, right? And I kept looking at that. I was convinced that that was that. But if you look, it's starting to get, at that time it was actually dark, and the light on the porch, you could see shadows, so that if there's like a body, what you're seeing is Chris's right arm was actually lifting up. And that looks like a shadow. So if you go back to that video again and watch his right arm lift, that's what that shadow appears to me. Okay, this is just my belief. Nobody has to believe me. It's just my belief, okay? I could be wrong, but that's just what I believe and what I see. Dana, Nicole Kessinger being pregnant. If she were, then she would get an abortion. Oh, yeah. Knowing her, she probably wouldn't. But being that she's highly promiscuous, based on the FBI getting a tip from someone that used to work with her, saying that she slept with every guy at work, that tells you a lot. And then Chris stating that she always wanted to have sex, that tells you a lot. Like, keep in mind, Chris was attracted to her and wasn't infatuated with her based off of her own sickness, if you guys understand what I'm saying. Then take Cece to the oil field. Excuse me. Soul for Music, she was trying so hard to keep her family together, and he was doing nothing but trying to tear them apart. A woman who was not half the woman Shanann was. It doesn't make sense. Add babies to the mix, even worse. I know. Like, who could do that to their own babies? And guys, I look back on those videos Shanann had posted, and thank God she really was on social media, because her family has this now. They have all of those memories now that they can go back and watch. And, you know, it's so sad that to do that to your own babies. I look back on those videos, I don't see a bond. Chris did not have a bond with those girls. That's the first thing we look at in child abuse cases and everything, is that if a parent has a bond. When you have a bond with a child, it would be like what you see Shanann having with her girls. That bond is clearly there if you go to those footages of her with her girls. She's got a tight bond. Now I see the girls had a bond with Chris, but I don't see Chris having a bond with them. Nicole Kessinger was caught lying several times, and her Google searches were suspect. I wonder why they didn't pursue a lie detector test or push the fact she lied to investigators. Because keep in mind that would complicate, if you added her into it, it would complicate getting him put away so fast and sentenced so fast. So keep in mind, Charles Manson, guys, went to prison for life, and he didn't kill anybody, right? He didn't kill anybody. But he had a mind control manipulation on somebody. Actually, not somebody, on a lot of people. And that mind control, you know, got him in prison for the rest of his life. Kessinger deleted all these things and did all these things because she was trying to hide something. If you truly was genuinely going to the police that day because you were worried, you would not have deleted your text messages that might have helped them. Maybe your naked pictures you sent them. That would be understandable. But as far as text messaging, why would you delete that? Ronnie Watts was just Cindy's echo. Yep. Connie, it's unsettling that people are accepting his latest version of things. Yeah, it is. And they're taking it and they're just, when you can clearly hear in the confession, he's lied 50 million freaking times. So how can you believe that last confession? I cannot watch it because I can't stop crying. Yeah. This was planned. Nicole Atkinson ruined the plan. Exactly. Hi, Songbird. He didn't stay at NK's house that whole month. Bad shit happened at his house during that month. What do you mean by that? Shannon, yeah, I doubt if she was pregnant she would go through with it. And her little fairy tale, it's over. Chris is in jail now. It's time for her to move on to her next victim. Yeah, the crazy thing is she didn't have any plans to get a place with Chris, right? But you're looking up wedding dresses. And will you marry your mistress? That doesn't make sense to me, guys. If you don't have long-term plans with somebody, why would you be looking up wedding dresses and he's not even divorced? Yes, Chris Watson, the love letters do make me sick too. Marcella, I think he never loved Shanann. He married her because he saw an opportunity to leave the chains of his mom. Yep, I think you're right. Those women should be thrown in prison too. Yes. Marcella, he knew with Shanann he could escape her family's yoke. Yep. One of the prisoners told Chris, kill yourself, stick your head in your toilet, so they hate him in there. Yeah, and they were telling him, slipping him letters of how else he could kill himself. Uh, yeah, he mentions the mascara too much because she didn't even have a chance to take off her makeup, which was her nightly routine, was to take off her makeup. So, and he slipped during his interviews with the media guys when he stated she barely even had a chance to go to sleep. And then he caught himself and then changed the subject. So that tells you a lot. She barely even had a chance to go to sleep. No woman sleeps face down after having neck surgery ever. Yeah, exactly. When your neck is fused. That, yes, you're absolutely right. I've had surgeries and still have issues, and no, you don't. I have to have cervical pillows every night to sleep. I feel like she was on her back, and Chris was sitting on top of her and holding her arms down with his legs so she couldn't fight back. Yes, just me. I think so too, because that's what they do to you. Our bodies could have been the premeditated part. No, Shelly, because he was as if I would have confessed immediately if you told me that you seen me, loading their bodies. So that tells you there a lot. If you listen to his confession tapes, he changed many times. She had to have been and let me see. She had to have been in bed under the covers and probably sleeping because no defensive marks. Yeah, he caught her off guard. Mary Jane, I swear I could see a little shadow walk toward him the size of Cece. They could be right, Mary. You could be right. I agree with you. Girls were gone when he drove to oil site. Marcella, I truly believe that. I think something way more sinister happened, and Chris is not able to tell it. And although the whole horrific thing of taking them to the oil site alive is horrific in itself, it's a much easier story to come to terms with versus what he really did in the home, which would explain why he shut the bedroom doors when friends were there. And when the friend looked up, he made an excuse. Oh, I had to shut their doors because they're toys. But then she looks down and their toys are all over the living room. So, guys, that's his subconscious mind knowing upstairs to them that he had to shut their doors. So, you got to think about all those little hints. He did say if you saw the girls' bodies in the truck. Exactly. And bodies, guys, bodies. Like, bodies means dead. My question is, did he kill Shanann first and then the kids, or the kids first? Marcella, no one would ever know. Like, I would be completely speculating if I told you which one he killed first. I can honestly tell you that by the physical evidence and circumstantial based off of this case that I have analyzed, the girls were gone before Shanann. And that's because he would always send Shanann pictures of them asleep in bed because she missed them. And also she would FaceTime them. But that night, he did not let his father FaceTime them. And he did not let Shanann FaceTime them because he said, no, they've already been crying for you. And then she asked, okay, well, send me pictures. And he sent her pictures of the kids that happened earlier that day and not present pictures. So that right there, you have to question, what the hell was that about? You know, why, when you're known to send pictures of them sleeping? There's plenty of pictures I can show you of the girls sleeping, guys. He always would take pictures of them sleeping so that Shanann could see they're nicely, sleeping in their bed and they're safe. No way she helped Rebecca, you're right. She wanted him to leave her, not kill her, and the girls, yeah. I went to see NK college psych classes that she may have taken. Rotten Rat said to detectives, I do what they tell me to do, when they asked him about his daily routine in jail. Yeah. That's another one of his manipulations. At first, guys, he played the victim, right? Of Shanann. Then when they told him in the confession that Sandy and Ronnie still loved him, that's when he came clean and said Shanann was a wonderful mom and a wonderful wife. And that came out of his mouth. So if Shanann was a certain person to him that he, excuse me, tried to say in confession, in the earlier confession, why did you then change it to the truth that Shanann was a wonderful wife? Crazy bitch, you're right, Paula. Misty says, I think the girls, or at least one of them, then Shanann, in my opinion. Because keep in mind, I told him that she would rid him of toxic, her kids, the Watts are toxic, and she would rid them, and that it would kill her if anything ever happened, and that his family is evil, and that if anything ever happened to her daughters, it would kill her. So this fueled Chris. You're talking about his family, and they're evil, and he knows inside his evil mind is evil too. So he could have very well killed the girls, so Shanann, because he kept stating in his first interrogation, I needed to see her face. I had to see her face. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? But then he slips in interrogation also when Tammy goes, Chris, none of this makes sense. What you're telling me is not adding up. And yes, nothing makes sense. You're right. Her being there doesn't make sense. Why was she there? So what I took from that is you can't be talking about Shanann because that's her house. The only person you could genuinely be talking about would be Bella. So subconsciously it came out as, yeah, why was she there? So that makes you think with his second confession and taking with the first interrogation, putting those two informations together, that would kind of confirm to me that that part, Bella witnessing it, was true just based off of those two things that you add together. I'm reading your guys. I go back and I read. If only she would have moved in with her mom. Yes. You're absolutely right. He had to have killed her in bed when she was under covers. She would have scratched him if she wasn't under the covers. Yeah. He caught her off guard. You ever, like, were so tired? Because keep in mind, guys, Shanann was so tired. She even told Atkinson, like, oh my God, I gotta get up in the morning. Bella's got school in the morning. I'm so tired. And when you're pregnant, you're even more tired. So she was exhausted. So you ever have been so tired that if somebody wakes you up, you're like kind of in a confused state? So she could have been asleep and he did that to her and she was caught off guard, and she even told him, he stated in his confession, that she said, get off of me, you're putting pressure on the baby, you're going to hurt the baby. Nicole Kessinger didn't care if they died. She cared if he got caught and went down with him. Yep. Guys, I'll be honest, at first I didn't think Kessinger, like, had anything to do with it. Like, you know, keep in mind, Chris chose to murder his family. And Chris alone is the one that chose to do this. So, that is Chris. Now, Kessinger could have influenced it big time. Yes, I believe that now. Exactly, Connie. No way would he have risked the neighbors hearing the girls. Keep in mind, they're seeing their mommy like this. They're not going to stop crying. You cannot like that from crying. No matter what you say or do, they see what's going on, especially Bella. She was going on 5 years old. You think she don't know what the heck she's witnessing? You think she's not screaming and crying? And that's why Chris did that? And honestly, guys, you can tell that it was premeditated by the physical evidence. And also, you can tell that, you know, if Chris didn't have the girls as part of his premeditation, do you honestly think he's going to kill Shanann, go and bury her in a shallow grave, and leave those kids at home by themselves, 3 and 4-year-olds, and continue to work that day? He had to have some type of plan for that, right? Some type of backup. So he had to plan to kill the girls too, because there's no way in hell he would have left them at home by themselves. It's so bad. We will keep thinking about what really happened, but we will never know. Exactly, because Chris is a pathological liar, guys. And once you're a pathological liar, you will never believe what somebody tells you, you know? There's white lies that we do, which is, say if you see a baby and it's not really cute, but you don't want to hurt the parents' feelings, so you'll say, "Oh, how precious." You know what I mean? Because you don't want to hurt the parents' feelings. And then there's lies that you say because you are protecting somebody and you don't want to hurt their feelings. Like, do you think I'm fat? Do you think I've lost weight? So you'll say, no, you're not fat. Or, yeah, you lost weight, girl. Those are so we don't hurt people's feelings. But a pathological liar, they continue to lie because That's what they do. Paula, no, it was Chris's shadow. It's so bad we will keep thinking, how exactly they weren't outside. And keep in mind, those houses are very close together. You think the neighbor's not going, especially Nate, you know, like very nosy neighbor, thank God he is not going to hear the girls outside crying. I'll have to look again. I thought it looked like CC. Yeah, if you look, you'll see Chris raise his right arm. And when he raises his right arm, that's the shadow that you're seeing that looks like it's coming up to him. Because I've analyzed that video so many times, and I keep going back to the letter that I got. And then I also go back to the physical evidence that, you know, I've seen and I've read that I'm stuck on. The girls were not alive, guys. They weren't alive when he put their bodies in the truck. And then this last confession, when he slipped and stated, you know, if you would have told me that, you know, you seen the girls' bodies in the truck, that right there told me, okay, enough what I needed to know. The detectives know they have the Vivint and are not telling because it is an ongoing investigation. Exactly. And also keep in mind the DA was very shocked that there was a Dr. Phil episode, guys. And that there was like 5 attorneys on this Dr. Phil episode. They had no idea that there was going to be a Dr. Phil episode. And also on the Dr. Phil episode, the attorneys stated that they were not aware of an ongoing investigation. However, they hinted to that there's a possibility there is an ongoing investigation. And that would explain why the state allowed the detectives to go there and the FBI. Because keep in mind, somebody's got to pay for them to go there, right? You can't just go to a judge and say, hey, I need you to sign an order approving the state to pay for us to go visit Chris because we think we might be able to get a confession out of him. It don't work like that. He's already sentenced. They don't do that, guys. So there has to be an ongoing investigation and enough evidence to get them there to go there and ask him the questions that they asked. And then when he said these things about Kessinger, the FBI coder stated, oh, that's a very interesting statement you just said there about Kessinger. So guys, there's something. There's an ongoing investigation. Trust and believe that. And like they said to him, it can be 2 years, 5 years from now that we come back and see you. Are you okay with that? So keep in mind, an ongoing investigation can go on for years, guys. It can go on for years. But even now, if he did tell the truth, how would we even believe that with all the lies? Exactly, Megan. Once a person tells lies, like it's hard to believe the truth. And that's weird. How in the hell did he carry her body without a problem, without us seeing it on video? He said he had troubles getting her downstairs. I think he got her in the basement because of the physical evidence with the motion detectors, guys. It only pinged Shanann at 1:48 in the morning. Shanann went to her office, put down her purse. That means she would have had to go back to that same motion detector and get pinged again. So keep in mind that motion detector pinged her, right? She would have to cross paths with that motion detector again to get a ping. She never did. There was no more movement. The house was very quiet for 2 hours. So I think everything went down in the basement, which would explain the trauma and cadaver dog alerts to the basement, which would explain the movement started to happen upstairs, the motion detector pinging, and Bella walking downstairs. And so if you take all the physical evidence of the actual technology in the home and put it all together, it kind of makes its own story and says its own story. Vivid notification that the garage door and the basement door was left open at the same time and was closed at the same time. Because Shanann never got past that motion detector to ping her to say that she walked past it. Once she entered the house, that motion detector detected her, but then it stopped. It didn't detect any more movement for 2 hours, guys. Just me, and what's weird, how in the hell did he carry her body? Yes, I read that. Mr. Lying, telling some of the truth, but I catch him and lies if you listen from the original stuff versus new tapes. Exactly. Anybody know how long she had been at Anadarko before she went after Chris Watts? I think she worked for Anadarko for like a year and a half. I could be mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And she started looking up Shanann that first year. A year before the murder, she was looking up Shanann. So that was off. That was odd. Keep in mind, it takes time, how fast this case went by so fast. It takes time for them to gather evidence, okay? And so her deleting the messages just made it harder for the FBI. But it doesn't mean that the FBI couldn't obtain those messages. It just takes longer for them to get the messages, if you guys understand what I'm saying. So the attention was put on Chris first, and Chris first only. Now the attention is put on where it should be put on too, and that's on Kessinger. And best believe they got some text messages, and that was why the state approved that visit to Chris. Cece was rambunctious and would have walked out to the driveway. I believe he grabbed her and smothered her before he drove away. Could be Connie. I agree. Sounds like for me. Let's see something. Hi, Lena from. I'm behind because I'm going back reading comments. He was manipulating Crazy Man. Yes. Yes, no bond. The girls always ask for mommy. He said it many times. Admitted he was jealous of that. Exactly, because he was always home a lot with the girls while Shanann had to go away for her job. And they always wanted mommy because mommy did have a bond, guys. And Chris didn't. Rotten evil woman Nicole Kessinger is guilty as well. How can she sleep and eat? Yeah. How could Chris even eat? He was in interrogation like days after the murdering. Actually, the night when he was with their friends eating pizza. Pizza, guys. And keep in mind also, in the physical evidence, he stated that he bathed the girls and fed them cold pizza. Autopsy proved there was nothing in the girls' stomachs. Nothing. So Paula, the new thing on here, Chris put the girls in the oil for no tracing and maybe no charging him for the murders. The girls, no way this is true, I hope. He put them in there because keep in mind this is flammable. Chris stated in interrogation that this was a tank that had water and oil. Chris was not dumb when it came to these equipments, guys. Chris knows that there's a separate tank separating the water from this oil. He knew that. So that was a lie in interrogation. He knew putting them in there with flammable gas like that. That, you know, what it would do, it would first hide any smell of the stench, and it would also dissolve them, basically, guys. Do you know what's really heartbreaking is that Sandy got to see her daughter, and oh, God, this kills me to even say it. She got to see her daughter, but she couldn't see her grandbabies because their coffins had to be sealed, guys. Their coffins had to be sealed, and if they really wanted to see them, they had to sign waivers that if they opened the caskets, that if something were to happen to them, they weren't, responsible. So keep in mind, they didn't even get to see their grandbabies in those coffins because of being in that crude oil the way they were in. Marcella, I couldn't stand the detectives being so chimmy with the rotten rat. Psychological, reverse psychology tactic to see his mindset. To see, is he really got remorse? Is he able to laugh? Because when you're in mourning, it's very hard to laugh, guys. It's very hard to have that type of emotion when you are in sincere mourning and pain. You know, you can't laugh. You can't do that. So they do this to make him feel comfortable, for one, because the minute he starts to feel like he's being interrogated again, he can easily say to the guards, hey, take me back to my cell. I'm not talking to them anymore. And then they wouldn't have gotten answers. So they do this as a tactic, like Tammy did in the first interrogation videos before the polygraph. She was laughing with him and everything. She was testing him. Because what she should be seeing is panic. Your children are missing. If my children go missing or grandchildren go missing in the store for 5 seconds, you're going to be in a freaking panic. And she was testing his baseline. So this confession tape, although very disturbing to listen to when they're laughing like that, is to get a baseline. They know what they're doing, guys. They're getting his baseline already by walking in that room. They're getting a baseline of when he feels comfortable versus when he's not feeling comfortable, when he should be telling the emotions, when he's talking about certain things. Should those type of emotions come out? Is he being sincere in what he's saying? You know, you got to think about that. The DA even stated that after this confession, they didn't believe anything he said because it didn't match up to the physical evidence. Some of the questions in the last interview make me think they were fishing for more info because they know something. Yes, Mary. Definitely after I listened to the confessions like 50 million times, because that's how I am. I analyze everything, every word. Um, they are definitely, I'm not going to say the name, but they have a person of interest that they're looking at. And you best believe that there's an ongoing investigation. And when the family went on Dr. Phil, it kind of, what is the word? It could have hurt them in that ongoing investigation because she can buckle down and get a lawyer and shut down. And so they don't want that. So going on Dr. Phil, which I cannot blame Shanann's family, I'm not blaming them for doing what they did. Their whole thing was their daughter's name is finally cleared. He admitted to killing the girls. Thank God Shanann's reputation is restored. So you guys have to think about that. Her family did this to clear her reputation. They weren't thinking, about like the ongoing investigation part. Dr. Phil should have thought about that, though. In the videos of Chris with the girls, I agree with you. He had no bond with them. He was going through the motions and did what he thought he should do. It felt odd to watch. No real attachment there. You're right, exactly what I seen. Now, wait a minute. He probably did have a bond. He did the distancing. The kids wanted Shanann all the time. And even did the run after mommy after she went to the bathroom. And her dad was like, oh my God. I'm not sure what you mean, Shelly. If you guys go back on all the videos, you can clearly see Chris did not have a bond with the girls. It was not a sincere bond. It was almost like a forced, like, relationship. That I'm only doing this, you know, for the cameras type of thing. Like, you can look at Shanann's bond with the girls and the genuine bond that you see, the close bond. And then look at Chris, which spent an enormous amount of time with these girls. And look at his bond versus Shanann's. And look up the meaning bond. And then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Shelly, if he had a bond with those girls in the first place, he would have never murdered them. You would never murder your children if you have a bond with your children, for one. So that proves the whole thing of seeing it for yourself, watching the videos, that he didn't have a bond. But clearly, being capable of taking two babies' lives that are your babies and having a close bond with them, that would kill you to do what he did. And then to talk in this new confession and laugh and do all the things that he was doing showed right there was no bond. Exactly. The kids wanted mommy all the time. Keep in mind that last girls were distanced from him. They were showing distancing from Chris, like he was doing something to make them fear him a little bit. Shanann FaceTimed him daily. She didn't trust him. In no way he could get away with being gone. NK did a manipulation job at that house, not hers, like he hints at. I know how tough that is. I hope you... Megan, if you gotta go because of your migraine, you can. Yes, an ice pack on the back. But that didn't really matter much to him. Exactly. There's a difference between being a father and being a daddy. Okay? Anybody can be a father. Louie, you're panting. Yeah, the neck issues is why I have migraines. Yes, neck is so much problems. I think he did choke her in the closet to knock her out and put her on the bed and strangled her. Yeah, because he did state he moved her to the bed. Yes, Marcella, he played the part of husband and father. He was there going by the day. Exactly. Yeah, can you imagine the shock on Shanann's face when she's attacked? I can't stop thinking about those horrific moments. Exactly, Marcella. And not only that, his narcissist thing to justify and to feel better about himself as he's looking in her eyes, as he's taking the life out of her, thinking, I don't know, maybe she was praying for me, thinking, you know, God forgive him for he doesn't know any better. To be that selfish that you want to convince yourself that? No, she's probably thinking, oh my God, the man I love my husband, the father of my children, you're doing this to me right now. That's what she's probably thinking. And she went into shock. Because he never had done that to her. She even stated, guys, to her friends desperately that she didn't know Chris anymore. Chris is not Chris. She didn't even know who this man was. Yeah, if he knew that people knew he planned it out and it was premeditated, it wasn't just him snapping, he would look even worse. Exactly, guys. But all physical evidence proves it was premeditated. If it were me and I was NK, I would want police to see all messages exactly and would give Jim's number if I was innocent. If I was guilty, on the other hand, I'd not want them to talk to see anything from either one. Exactly. A monster in disguise lurking. Poor Shanann and the kids. Yeah. Was the closet that her pile of clothes were in? Was it bedroom he let her change and creeped in there the moment she put that t-shirt over her head? I think, like he said, he was laying in the bed and he felt her get in and he waited. He waited for the right moment, closer to the time. You know, he had it all planned out, guys. That from the doll picture to calling the employee to not go out to that site. He knew he had enough time to dispose of all their bodies. He kept asking them as he's doing this, how long is it going to take? Keep in mind, too, that there's text messages going on during the time Chris was out at Survey 319. So how are the girls alive, for one, when you're burying Shanann, digging a hole, and you're doing texts back and forth with employees and then doing what you said you just did to the two girls? It doesn't add up because you're texting in the middle of all of this. How could you be able to do that? That is impossible, guys. So you have to take all the physical evidence in consideration here. It does not add up. So Chris's confession with how the girls were alive and all of that, it doesn't make sense. Go to www.discoveryfiles.com on the cloud and look at the 1,960 pages of the 2,000 pages of discovery and read it for yourself. And then listen to his confession and see if that timeline adds up. It doesn't. It does not add up. Thank you, Chris. Remember to like. Okay, they had a stronger bond with Shanann, but they still had a bond. Yes, I'm not saying the girls didn't have a bond with Chris, okay? I can see the girls had a bond with Chris. I don't see Chris had a bond with the girls, Shelly. And that's evident by all of the videos. There wasn't a bond. There really wasn't. I want you guys to hear something really quick. She stopped doing it. But that's my tiny toy poodle snoring so loud. Jesus. That girl snores so freaking loud. Yes, the only bond was with himself. Do you think they believe his latest confession? I don't think they do. I think Chris that to make it hurt worse for them. I honestly do. I think, like, asked them, do you believe what he confessed? They didn't believe it. Yeah, she wanted her marriage to work. You're right. Can you guys hear that? I've heard he created a leak at the site the Friday before it happened. Is this true? Anthony, I don't know because I've not heard that. I know that there was a problem out there at that site, and that's why. But I also know that other coworkers were out there when this happened, so I don't think he created the leak. But I know that when he was doing text messages back and forth when he was out there that morning on them to show up because he knew they were on their way, that he took a picture of the oil leak, and when they asked how it was going, he said, "Oh, fresh, laugh out loud. You just did this to your whole entire family and you're saying fresh, laugh out loud." That to me is like a key word, like fresh, laugh out loud. I'm sorry, but he would do the world some good if he does end it. Yep, Paula, you're right. And that's sad to say it. Yeah, there definitely was a leak out there because there was a problem out there with team. But he wanted to make sure that he that was going out there, guys. His story will keep changing in his interrogation. He said he grabbed Shanann and pulled her down. Now he says he got on top of her. Yeah. Ajax, my Yorkie snores so loud too. Yeah, this girl snores, and then sometimes you'll hear her snop. Can't even talk. I'm getting so tired. You'll hear her stop snoring, and you think like, "Oh my God, is she okay?" I say puppy. She's 5. She's still my baby though. They are, but this girl snores so loud, guys. Like so freaking loud. Listen. See, she's not doing it, but now she's snoring. As soon as I take the camera off her, she starts snoring again. 5 p.m. in Melbourne. Wow, Scott. Yeah, he does act perfectly happy, Lena. That's what's creepy, man. Shanann's mom, when they said the part about the girl's feet on the mom in the car, was so heartbreaking and awful. It was. It really was. Oh my God, I love how you say laugh out loud. You say how I heard it in my head, always sarcastic sounding. Mm-hmm. Bella loved her daddy so much, but she didn't know he was a psycho. You're right. Traffic picked up in the basement. Something ain't right. Well, all the traffic picked up in the basement could have been him doing what he did with the girls and would explain the 2 black garbage bags. Yeah, Anthony, he knew about the site and knew it was a good site to do it at because he knew it was really out there. The flammable oil again, guys. And he said, because you kept seeing on the neighbor's surveillance, that gas can, he was so desperate to keep trying to put it in the car, right? He said his original plan was to blow up the site, but he thought about all the innocent people that were headed out there. So he didn't want them to be harmed or hurt by that. That he was just going to end it all for himself. Get out of here. Chris had no intentions to kill himself. Yes, it was disgusting. He could eat. The girls not having anything in their stomach is not odd. When was the timestamp that they ate? It would be odd because if he stated he fed them at 7 or 8 o'clock at night and the murders happened that morning, food takes time to digest, guys. Food doesn't digest in just, a few hours, okay? Now, if he fed them at 8 or 9 at night, keep in mind the murders happened early in the morning. So let's count that. Say he fed them at 9. Sorry. So 8 hours, later, there would still be food there in the stomach, okay? The stomach doesn't digest like that. Yes, they supposedly had cold pizza for dinner that night before. Now keep in mind, if he killed them, um, you know, that food would still, guys. I don't think he killed the girls at the site, guys. I honestly do not think he did. Everything shows premeditation, and his story doesn't add up. And he changed the story I don't know how many times. If you go back on one of my videos where I caught him in 50 million freaking lies during this confession, it backs that up. That's a conjured up story that he's telling. Although it's a horrific story, don't get me wrong, I think the truth is the more horrific part. It is the premeditation of how he did it and what these babies were saying to him as he did it in the home, which is why he couldn't stay in the house. He had to go to a friend's to stay because he couldn't even stay in the house because the house was a reminder. He had to close the girls' bedroom doors because the girls' bedroom doors was a reminder. And then when a friend looked upstairs at just looking up, oh, I closed those doors because I didn't want to see their toys. But downstairs, their toys are everywhere, so that didn't make sense. Now, does it? On the way up, what if Cece was passed out in the back and he killed Bella in the passenger seat? Did Cece in the back in her sleep, and that's why she didn't fight? Keep in mind, guys, if he did it the way he said he did it, was with their blankets around their face, there would be fibers, right? Like when we open our blinds and the sun comes in and you see all the stuff that flies in the air. Okay, those are microscopic stuff that you can see. So with a blanket, over them, they're going to have fibers somewhere in their mouth. The autopsy does not show those fibers. Keep in mind, when he's suffocating them, they're crying, right? Bella bites her tongue, guys. They're crying. And when you're crying and biting your tongue, you're breathing in a little bit and trying to catch your breath as you're being suffocated. Those fibers would go into your lungs. So his story does not add up. He wanted to kill himself with the gas tanks, but he knew more innocent people would be around and didn't want anyone else getting hurt. Yeah, right. Like here, you just killed your baby girls, and yeah, he wasn't trying to kill himself. And just guards, just recently, when they put him on suicide watch, the guard said, "Chris, will you tell us if you have any suicidal thoughts?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely tell you if I have any suicide thoughts." Well, what I found odd in this new confession is that Chris was asked, "Are you getting help? Counseling? Are they giving you antipsychotic medications?" And he said, "Oh no, I don't need that. I don't need none of that." If you just murdered your family and your baby girls, you don't need anything to help you with your depression or with your anxiety. I find that very hard to swallow, guys. Because if you really genuinely cared about your family, would you not need some type of medication to help you out? You're spending the rest of your damn life in prison and you don't need any medication? Exactly, because he's a monster. Yeah, he's a narcissist. You don't think he needs it because he doesn't have any remorse. Remorse is what you've seen on Dr. Phil with Shanann's parents. Pain is what you see on Dr. Phil with Shanann's parents. What you've seen in confession is Chris for who he is. That laughing and all that is Chris. He don't even need medication to help him through this. If you freaked out and did this to your family, you would need medication, guys, to help you. To help your mind not go back to that. Unless you're enjoying what you did and you want to remember that. There's antipsychotics that you can take, depression medication, so that when your mind comes up with that thought, it immediately will block it for you so you're not able to think about it. That's what antidepressants do to people. And Chris doesn't need anything? That's weird to me. That's very telling to me. That shows you the monster that he truly is. Alright, soul for music. Good night. People in psychosis need about a week before they even start to come back to reality. Her mom is strong, her father is, and her brother. I hope people pray for them because I know I do. Yes, Anthony, I do every single night, every day I pray for them. Or you have the demon possessed hell. Because he is happy with them gone. Exactly. Exactly. Andrea Yates, that drowned her kids, seemed to be in a trance for years. Chris is back to normal. Exactly. There's, mothers that have nervous breakdowns and fathers that have nervous breakdowns, guys. And they don't even know who their kids are, right? Because they had a nervous breakdown. Chris, the day that he murdered his family, was on television pleading for their safe return, knowing what he had just in a complete, calm, rational manner without any type of panic, which was very odd. So he was not in a psychosis. A psychosis state is almost like a panic state. Yes, Lisa, I can read your post. I'm going back on you guys' comments in case I read or didn't read it. Yes, how Card says he sleeps all the time. The guards also stated that Chris is very manipulative to them. Psychosis doesn't just stop instantly, guys. You can be in a psychosis for a very long time. It's not, they don't snap out of it like that, okay? The animal plans to murder his children, exactly. Maggie, I'm weirded out how Bella has oil inside of her and Cece did not. I can't even think about that or think about why. Well, Megan, the reason why is because Cece was faced up from the crude oil, but Bella, baby Bella, was face down. Her face was in the crude oil. So that's how the crude oil seeped into her stomach. And Cece was faced up, so that's why she didn't have it. It makes my stomach turn and crushes my heart, bringing tears to my eyes when I think about how they couldn't transport the bodies or cremate because the girls were so flammable. Yes, that's what really my mind keeps replaying and thinking, guys. That to me is just heart wrenching. It would have, if they would have cremated the girls, it would have blew up the whole entire place, guys. Think about what he did to us. And then you have trolls on the channel talking crap. Like, this is the really, don't understand. Guys, and more broken up than he was. Exactly, Lori. Yeah, Anthony, I don't know how he could eat. Andrea Yates is probably the only case I believe told the truth and shouldn't have went to prison, but a mental hospital. Her case was tragic. I'll have to look into that. I don't even know about the Andrea Yates. Actually, Chris, he stated in confession that he put that gas thing in there to blow up the place and kill himself too. But then he decided not to because he didn't want to hurt any other innocent people that he knew that was coming out there. He is a psychopath. Both killed their pregnant wives and then faked remorse on TV. Yeah, but Connie, he didn't even on TV. Scott Peterson faked better remorse than Chris. Chris didn't show anything. Like, have you ever heard the saying, the lights are on, but nobody's home? That's what Chris was showing. Chris, he said in the new interview, also he thought of blowing himself up with it, but didn't because he didn't want to hurt other innocent people, or so he says. There are more ways to off yourself than blow yourself than just to blow the place up. He's dumb. Yes, he is. He put bells in head first, just feet first. Yeah, saying what? I don't remember him putting bells. No, guys, keep in mind, let me tell you. He put them in their feet first, and he said they got in easy but had a hard time with Bella's head. Do you guys know that he used his foot, guys, to stuff Bella into that 8-inch hole, guys? He used his foot on top of her head to stuff her in there and put pressure on her head. That Bella's shoulder was dislocated as he's doing this, okay? That's on the extended autopsy, and the extended autopsy was not in the 2,000-page discovery because there was only 1,960 pages that were released, okay? And I'm telling you guys this because of the letter I received, that I know this for a fact, that kills me, knowing this too, what he did. That's why baby Bella's hair was ripped from her skull and was on the opening of that tank. Yeah, it's on the extended version of the autopsy. I think you can Google the extended version of the autopsy, and you'll see that, guys. Oh, Ejax. Chris Wilson, same. I bawled my eyes out, straight up ugly cried for an hour after I saw the video of Bella in her car seat singing about her daddy. I know. Yeah, the girl's probably Missy would have been disintegrated in the oil. She had severe PPD and other issues, and it was in her history. Her doctor even told her she shouldn't have another kid, but she did. I think her husband wanted another. I'm not sure, been a long time. I'm gonna have to look that case up. Yes, Jenny, a narcissistic sociopathic psychopath. You got that right. I'm going back on your comments because they go so fast. So give me a chance to get to you guys and read them. Okay. He said he had to manipulate Cece to get her in, so I think he just put Bella in head first. Um, no, it shows that Bella's head would be Cece's. So the duh, manipulating the bodies would be Bella. He must be laughing at our pain and Shan's parents right now. Mm-hmm. So the cameras inside the house were disabled. No, there's no way to disable the cameras, Jennifer. You can take that sky control panel off and smack, but it's like black box. It's still going to keep going. It's still collecting data. Sandy said Bella was at the bottom of the drum. Yeah, because Bella's, Maggie, was less oil in it. That it took more time to get the oil out of Cece's tank versus Bella's. And Chris even stated that, and coldly stated this, that he could tell that Bella's tank had less oil in it by the sound that her body made when it fell in there. So that tells you a lot. Valley hurt himself. Exactly. How do they not have all of it on the Vivint? The Vivint panel is located in their home to the left of their interior garage door. Now, going back on K9 and all that, and the cops being called out that there was a woman found in the house, I can hear the sky control panel backup battery alerting that there's a low battery. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't really answer that question. Lisa Burnett, she only responds and answers questions with the same few people. Lisa, I'm not sure what you're saying, hon. Ask a question and I'll catch it. This goes so fast on and look at your guys' questions. So in and I'll get to it. Jenny, a narcissistic sociopath, psychopath. Okay. Okay, I agree. Yeah, I hope it haunts him too. The extended version. Right, Scott, I believe his children up to the. He only saw them as objects to be disposed of, not as children. Yeah, exactly. Especially the meaning and lyrics of the song and just how little sweet and innocent she looked. Oh, God. Lena, you're right, Rebecca. You would think Chris Watts would wanted to be drugged up to the max. Exactly. Jenny, piece of shit stomped on Bella's head to push her through the shaft. Yeah. Yes, Jenny, he did. Why do you guys think there's a video of him where they're making him take his shoes off in prison? And there's a whole team of forensics there and taking his footprint. Narcissists, Connie says narcissists are very good at seeming normal, but being full of violence inside. I dated one. They will lie until the day they die. So, Megan, what a biatch. Makes me want to try to shove his big ass head between those bars of his cell. He needs to be straight up tortured every single day until he dies. Okay, maybe someone will stomp on his head after he gets hooked up to another lie detector and rats out Nicole Kessinger. I'll help you, Megan. Let's do it. Megan Lee, yes, he was wanting and trying for a boy. Keep in mind, Kessinger wanted to give him his first son, and he wanted to give Kessinger her first. Did you notice he didn't mention that in the confession? Exactly. So the police showed a video of him dragging Shanann's body downstairs. Keep in mind, Anthony, I don't believe they had any inside cameras in the home besides the sky control panel that has a small camera and microphone. And Discovery Files, they don't have inside cameras. They had a doorbell camera and they had the camera that was on the sky control panel, which is a very small camera with microphone. Jail time would be worth at least. Someone can be on the other side after it's through and put their foot on his effing cell and try to push him back out. Definitely leave. I could never hurt another human being, but I would take pleasure in tearing him apart. Or only other rapists, child molesters, and murderers of women. Yes, Chris. It's just so awful. Jenny, somebody will get to Chris Watts and beat the crap out of him. Yes. Anthony, the police do. I've got several pairs of Doc Martens alone, you all. Now let's have us a stomp party. Chris, I agree. Andy, does anyone know why he put them in separate tanks? Wouldn't he get the same effect if he put them both in the, or he put both of them in the one? Yeah, exactly, Andy. Why did he put them in separate tanks? So they couldn't even be together in their death, you know? I say Chris Watts will be dead within a year. Yeah. I'm really not a violent person, but if I want to do shit like that, you deserve to see how it felt, especially to an innocent child who couldn't even defend themselves properly, though she tried her damnedest. That's what kept Bella fighting for her life. Her daddy, the one man she trusts and loves. Ugh. Yeah, I don't think they'll beat the crap out of him, Anthony. You're right. I think they'll murder him. Mary Jane's night. All prayers for Shanann, her family. Night, Mary Jane's. Yeah. I just want him to be between every day till he weakens and dies. I love that Minnie Mouse you have in the room. Bella loved Minnie Mouse. Yes, she did. And I think Bella had this Minnie Mouse kitchen too, guys, in their playroom. I think that's what Vivint was. Vivint is, like, I have interior cameras in my home, and outside my home I have surveillance. But they had motion detectors and sky control panel with a small camera and microphone. I didn't know about him stomping Bella's head to force her down in there. Yes, Ajax, that is very soul crushing. He was afraid there wasn't going to be enough in the one tank, so he dumped in the other. Possibly. Connie Howard, I believe the interviewers know he is lying. I think they already knew he would lie. I don't think it is over as far as interviewing him. You're right. Chris Watson, yes, that was so wrong how he literally separated all three of them in death. It makes me nauseous. Yes, nauseated. Connie Howard, he didn't want the oil levels to show on the tanks. Yeah, probably, Connie. That could be right. I think he put them in separate tanks to keep oil levels close to where they were. I think Nicole Kessinger helped with the alarms and oil level configuration of tanks. Thank you for all this, Rebecca, because I can't let this go. We all want the truth. None of us can let this go. We all want the truth and justice. This is a very hard case to let go, guys. Like, it has really, affected a lot of people. And I think because Shanann did have a lot on social media, so you got to know her where you almost feel like it was a personal level because of the videos that she posted. I loved how Shanann's mom said Bella told her that they could go to Disney World whenever they want now. Oh, Anthony, you're going to make me cry. Yes, you can, sweet angels. Oh. Lori, I think Shanann knew that there was something different about Chris, and I think she put on a really good act to hide it. She said to her friend Lori that she was at her family's throwing up and stuff, and she had to blame it on, being pregnant. But it was actually Chris that was sick. But she had to hide it from her family. I'm sorry, Jax, that you had to. Oh, Chris, you're so sweet. Are you going to bed? Chris is so sweet. Like, he is the sweetest guy, guys. He really is. But guys, we can do another discussion at another time. So I think it is getting late and people have to probably get up in the morning. But, let's just think of, their life. And like I said, it's not the date of birth and the date of the death that matters. It's what's in between those two dates. And that is remembering Shanann and the lives that they once lived, remembering Shanann, Bella, and Cece, and poor baby Nico that never had a chance to be born, guys. This is remembering them, keeping their memory alive, and honoring them. Shanann told her mother, I want to make my mark on this world, Mom. And Shanann really did. She really did make this mark on the world. So, guys, we have to just honor that and honor her memory and all of their memories and really show the life they lived and loved, which is clearly in these videos that they lived the life they loved. So, God rest their beautiful souls. And yes, Anthony, I'll never forget these beautiful people. August 13th is just a day I'll always know. Heaven got 4 beautiful angels, simple as that. Yes, and guys, we also got a shine. You're welcome, Jenny. And if I missed anybody's tonight, I'm so sorry. It was just going so fast, guys. So don't think I missed the comment. So don't think that I just was singling you out and I wasn't listening to you. These comments go really fast, so I have to like put them on hold and go back and read them. So if I didn't get a chance to read anything that I'm so sorry. And just know that Bella world now. Bella did get to finally go to Disney, guys. And I really believe that. And these victims of domestic violence, when you do this, and, helping their self-esteem. So that really means a lot to me because my heart is about victims of domestic violence and children with child abuse. And so when you do this, you really are helping them. You have no idea. No idea. And that touches my heart. So, guys, I want to say good night. And I love all of you. You're very respectful. You guys are so caring. And it shows where your hearts are. And it shows you're all good people, good-hearted people. And the world needs more compassionate and loving people that have empathy. And clearly, my subscribers and viewers are those people. And I want to just say thank you guys. Like, really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you, Leave, Megan, Misty. You guys are my ride or die. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Mariah. Let me try to say your name. Mariah Dementi. Say that name, but thank you, Rebecca. Have a sweet. Thanks, guys. Bye, Scott. Bye, Jenny. Bye, Misty. Thank you. Bye, Leave and Megan and Misty. God bless. Have a good. And don't ever forget Shanann and Bella and Celeste. Okay? And baby Nico. He would have been born right now, guys. He would actually be born and doing his little rollovers and everything, So that's really heartbreaking. So, for Sandy and Frank and little Frankie, which I know little Frankie watches my videos. Frankie, I'm sorry if you ever read bad negative comments. And when you left a comment on my video asking why they were saying these bad things about your sister, I'm so sorry. And I try to catch those comments so you don't read them. And I try to do my best. You should never, ever have to read them. And I'm so sorry. And I don't ever want you to have to read those. And know that everyone that has subscribed to my channel supports Shanann and supports your family. And we do care deeply about you and your family, and Shanann, and Bella, and Celeste, and baby Nico. So little Frankie, if you are watching, God bless you. And you are all in my prayers for strength. And I pray that God gives you some peace and some love. And know that the good always outweighs the bad. And don't ever forget that, okay? Because your sister was a truly beautiful person. So don't let any negative comment about her affect you. Because don't ever think for a moment that people that really have a heart believe any of that. And I'm sorry your family had to go through that and has to continue to endure that. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm so sorry. Everybody, if little Frankie is watching right now, show him how much love you guys have for him. You are so loved. Your family is so loved. And we know you are good people. So, God bless everyone. And good night, guys. Good night.